$25,000 in, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just doing this now.
Okay, at some point, every truck build hits this moment.
Sucks, man.
Yeah.
You're deep enough in that there's no turning back, but you're still early enough to mess it up if you make the wrong call.
Figure out what you want to get out of it first.
Right.
Today, we're hanging out with a guy who's already lived that moment. His Toyota Tacoma isn't just built. It's been cut, it's been re-geared, dragged over rocks, daily driven. He's honest about what worked, what didn't work, and what he wishes he decided earlier. Because while this episode is about his Tacoma, it's really about our Ford Ranger and figuring out whether we pick a lane or waste time and money trying to do everything. This is Daily Racer.
Yeah, I'm just telling him to pick a lane, right? There's going to be a lot of wasted energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And money too.
Yep.
If you don't pick a lane, right? If you want something to go fast in the whoops, right? You can do that. If you want something to rock crawl around here and do East Coast stuff, you can do that.
Yep.
But you can't really do both.
No.
Or you can't do both really well.
Exactly.
So deciding early what you want to do, especially since the big difference is going to be two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive and solid axle versus independent front suspension.
Right. And I think that was one of the things that we talked about earlier was, do we convert and make it four-wheel drive and go through that process? Sweet. Piece of cake. For me, it's like, do you compromise and make it sort of an all-around kind of just, give it ability to do some of these things, some of those things, or just go all out and, like you said, in one direction and make it, a vehicle that can really be tailored for that one thing. So that's what we need to figure out. But this one looks great, man. You did a great job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, most people that get a Tacoma around here, put on like a 3-inch spacer lift in the front and some 2-inch blocks in the rear, or they do a drop bracket lift.
Oh, right.
It allows you to put on 35 or 36-inch tires.
Yeah.
And keep your CV angles pretty tame.
Got it.
It's not good if you want to go off-roading and actually have, wheel travel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's why mine's all cut up like this, because that's the second gen Tacoma's big downfall. Is that you can't fit bigger tires. So I've got small 35s, but I got 35s. And, I've had to trim the fenders back 2.5 inches. So they used to look like this on the back. You can see I've cut out 2.5 inches.
Yeah.
And I had to replace the fender well liners with these aluminum ones from C4 fabrication.
Oh, yeah.
And see, the cab mount is completely gone and has been replaced with one from DRT fabrication. That's another thing that gets in the way. And so now when I'm off-roading, things that I hit are like this panel here, and it'll sort of pop the headlight out a little bit.
Really?
Sort of smash these things back in.
Yeah.
Some of that's from the bumper coming up, and some of that's from this wheel hitting right here. So we need to cut this back as well and cap it off.
What made you pick Tacoma to do this build in the first place?
Always just loved Tacomas, and I didn't plan on a build. I bought it brand new and said I wasn't going to do anything to it.
Oh, wow.
Right? My entire life I've cut up and messed with every car that I've ever had. I didn't think COVID was going to go on as long as it did. And that gave me a lot of extra time and energy to do stuff. And I think that is what started this whole thing.
Got it. So do you remember the specific moment when you're like, you know what? I'm going to build this thing out?
No, it never was a moment, I guess, until I got, $25,000 in, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just doing this now. But I took it out to Moab last summer for a week with the local Jeep group from Greenville Off-Road.
Oh, cool.
And,
nice.
It kept up pretty well with these much bigger, much more well-built Jeeps.
Yeah.
Of course, I was dragging along everything because of, the breakover angle, and especially the departure angle there.
Right.
Because the rear bumper sticks out so far.
Yep, exactly.
You come off of obstacles.
Yeah, that's
that are sheer. It'll just hit on that bumper and drag itself along. But you see the bumper still in great shape.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you daily this still?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. What are these right now? These tires?
Kenda Clevers, 35.
They are 35.
10.5.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
They say they are. You probably measure them out, and they're probably 34 and a half or something. Tire manufacturers are all like that.
Right. Yeah, so no bead lockers.
No.
Yeah, so not needed apparently.
Well, no, I mean,
for what
if
you're
you want
doing.
to go down to 7 or 8 PSI,
sure,
you definitely need that.
Right.
And I mean, it definitely couldn't hurt to go lower, but they're expensive and also just very heavy.
Yeah, no kidding.
These wheels weigh, not that much. I mean, maybe 20 pounds a piece, 18 pounds a piece.
Yep.
Bead locks are going to be 30, 35.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What size wheels?
17
17s,
by
yeah.
8.5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool, man. I like
But
the
I spent a
choice.
lot
Yeah,
of
color
time and
choice
money on
looks
this
good.
thing. See, I got the 6-piston Willwood brakes. I've got a tie rod sleeve so that the inner tie rod can still be the fuse
Wow.
in the steering system. The rear's got the shock relocation and 14-inch Kings. I got Deaver leaf springs. This company called Archive Garage, they make the rear spring hangers here. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. Instead of the stamped steel that you get from the factory, these are just huge. And they have a crossbar that goes between them that sort of adds frame rigidity in the rear. Lets the suspension work more cleanly on its own.
Oh, right on. Right on.
The first reason I did the front bumper is to put a winch on.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the first thing, like I said, I told you I got stuck in the snow twice the year before.
Right, exactly.
Going out to Dolly Sods in West Virginia.
Yep.
And I didn't want that to happen again, or if it did, I wanted to be able to hook myself up to a tree and,
Sure. Yeah.
maybe
Get
start
yourself
to
out.
work my way out or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, if I'm honest with myself, it was probably half looks as well. 'Cause it
Sure.
looks great.
Yeah. Well, it looks sweet. So yeah, I get it.
They're down at this 45-degree angle instead of out here like this. And so when you approach a steep obstacle, this is the first thing that makes contact. I got smashed those things into the
Yeah.
rocks where I feel like I otherwise could have gotten a tire up. When I try to pop my hood, it won't pop. You got to get your hand under it.
I assume not, but was this your first build, or have you done other similar builds or with other rigs?
I had a Jeep XJ in high school.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But that was a whole different sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was also just a kid and had no idea.
Sure. Yeah.
And we were just out thrashing these things.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I learned a lot just reading forums online.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You want to see something kind of cool?
Yes.
I have a little homemade distribution box. Hopefully let me get in here. Yeah, I probably ought to figure out what the hell's going on here. There we go. See? It just needs a little encouragement.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. So you did all this? Mm-hmm. Wow.
I built it on a little bench in the workshop we had. That's what just your fuses and relays and all that power all the lights and everything. Keeps it completely separated from the OEM wiring, which is notoriously sensitive and finicky.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So it's nice to keep the systems completely separated.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just a little waterproof box and.
Yeah, and honestly, it's DC is not really affected by water very
Sure,
much.
yeah,
But you can
sure,
see
yeah.
after 5 years or 6 years now,
Yeah.
off-road and everything,
It all looks-
it's clean inside.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. Yeah.
The
Exactly.
outside of the box is nasty, but the
Sure.
rest of it's fine.
That means it's doing its job, right?
Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do, I don't know if you want to come here, you can see the low points here, these skid plates.
Yep.
That's for the transmission and
Yep.
for the transfer case.
Yep.
And so there's a company, I can't remember what they're called now, Overland Outfitters or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they make what they're calling a flat belly kit. It essentially takes this and raises it all up about 3 inches.
Oh, wow.
Which is
That's
huge
huge,
in
yeah.
terms of breakover angle.
Yeah, of course.
But it requires cutting out the transmission cross member and welding in their cross member that is significantly tucked up higher.
Wow.
And a small exhaust reroute that's really not a big deal. But that's the next move, is to pull all that up. And ideally, what I would love to do, but it's kind of a big commitment, is to bob the bed. You know what that is?
No, tell me about that.
So you would just cut the bed off
Yeah.
here,
So
move everything back, right? So you'd cut here and here,
Yep.
right, and keep this, and then you would just
So your
roll
departure
that
angle
bitch back.
increases dramatically.
Exactly. So
Yep.
you cut a foot out of
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
So you see how on a Jeep, right
Yeah.
after the rear tire,
Exactly.
the end of
That's
it's
it.
here,
Yep.
right? It's 6 inches.
Yeah.
So when you come off an
Yeah.
obstacle, you're off of
Good
it.
to go. Yep. Rather than slamming down on your rear bumper every time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
But
So
that's a huge commitment. I don't
yeah.
think I'm going to do that.
I got you. Yeah.
For a while, if
Yeah.
ever. If I did, that would be in conjunction with something like, a bed cage and, either, converting to coil springs in a 4-link, or doing what we call the Chevy 63 modification, which is the big problem with these Toyota leaf springs, or not with the leaf springs, they're not Toyota, these Deaver springs, but with the design, is that they're too short. Right, so to get lift, you have to get these big, thick leaf packs
Yeah,
or whatever.
yep.
So the Chevy 63 is just the 63-inch long leaf pack that came on Chevys, 1500s and 2500s for like 20 years.
Wow.
So you can easily get it from the junkyard.
Yeah.
It's a 3-leaf deal. So what you have to do is cut off you can't see it,
Right.
to cut off the front leaf spring hanger here and reposition it further down the frame.
Sure. How long are these that come stock on these now?
I don't really know the
Yeah,
length.
yeah,
I
but-
mean,
but it's
it's
just-
significantly less, like a foot less.
Yeah.
So with a longer spring, right, you can get more
Absolutely.
movement,
Yeah.
right? And so, you would want to do that in conjunction with like a small bed cage at least and, shock mounts. Then you
Right.
can put on 16 or 18-inch shocks and really get
Ton more travel. Yeah.
a ton of travel.
Yep.
Like I say, these are 14-inch, which is pretty good for doing it under the bed.
Yeah.
But still could, there's a lot left out there.
Yeah. No kidding, man. Absolutely. Wow.
And the Chevy springs are great because not only do they flex really well, but they still, carry a ton of weight without sagging too much.
Right.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nice.
And you can get them for like $100 from
yeah, that's
from a
a
junkyard.
good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. I'm sure the majority of this stuff was not
Not $100.
cheap. Yeah, not $100 and not junkyard finds. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only cheap part, right?
Right.
You're still gonna,
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
like-
Yeah.
yeah, I really need to learn how to weld and, get a nice garage like this one if I'm going to
Yeah. No kidding.
save some money.
Yeah. Seriously. This work that you've done to it. I mean, how is this all you, or you just do it all yourself?
Oh, no. Like I say, I don't weld. So,
Oh well, yeah. Other than
stuff
the
I'm
welding
gonna
stuff,
do
I guess. So what have you kind of done on your own versus?
Oh, man, the front and the rear bumpers, obviously just putting on the sliders, the roof rack.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff in the fender well, cutting all that stuff up and out. All the electrical stuff I did myself. I mean, everything except the welding for the most
Okay.
part.
Yeah. Any mods you regret that you would do differently if you were going to do it over, or you feel like happy with what you've done?
Pretty happy with what I've done, but the rear bumper.
Oh, rear bumper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too big. Like it's still technically a high clearance bumper, but I
Right.
would like something more tube style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the front.
Yep.
Because again, like just every little inch matters.
Yeah.
In a tube style bumper with the same fender cut.
Yep.
Right. I mean, you're gaining
Absolutely.
5,
yeah.
6 inches.
Significant. Yeah. Yep.
And so, I don't know if you can see, but I backed into a tree last year and I smashed up my tailgate.
Oh, I see.
So I just
yeah.
hit the, I just barely, I don't say barely touched it, but the tree pushed the tire into the tailgate and smashed it up.
Got it.
So I was talking to the guys at Greenville Off-Road about building me a tube tailgate.
Oh,
And then
right.
tying it into a new tube bumper.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
That also functions as a tire carrier.
Yep.
They said they could do that, but then, I would sell the bumper, but there's such a small market for something like that because you've got to, do this huge bedside cut.
True. Yeah. Good point. Yep.
Not that many people are doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've re-geared to 529, if you know what that means.
What? So no, explain that. Yeah.
So the differential gears,
Yep.
the ones that come in the truck are like 3.73,
Right.
which means for every turn of the drive shaft,
Yeah.
for every turn of the wheel, the drive shaft will spin
3.73 times. Right. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So now one turn of the wheel spins the drive shaft 5.29 times.
Okay. And what's the
Right.
benefit for that?
You get more torque, but you get lower speed.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. Yep. Which is what you want for.
And so your final
Off-roading.
drive ratio is going to be like your transmission gear. So like I don't know what first gear is, but like 4-to-1 or something.
Right. Right.
So it'll be that times whatever the transfer case is times whatever the differentials are.
Right.
Right. So this transfer case is 2.7, so it'll be like 4 times 2.7 times 5.29.
Right.
Gives you your final drive ratio.
Okay.
And so it gives you a lower final drive. So first gear is significantly lower in 4-low now than it was previously.
Sure. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Was that pretty early on in the build?
That
or-
was one of the first things. That I
Okay,
did.
got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So what advice would you give somebody that has a stock truck that wants to kind of get started? What
Same
would you
advice we just given Matt. Figure out what you want to get out of it first.
Right.
And then start working on the
Yeah,
truck.
yeah.
Because I was sort of aimless, right? And I probably wasted at least several $1,000s
Okay.
on things that
Yep.
I probably didn't need to do. Right. But if you get a really good idea of what you want
Yep,
first
yep.
and then start doing it, that's going to be your best bet.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. How is it driving down the highway for 2,000 miles? Is it comfortable or is it pretty miserable?
Sucks, man.
Yeah.
Can't use the cruise control because it wants to hunt gears. It'll
Right.
just slap back and forth from
Yeah,
like
yeah.
third or fourth gear to sixth, and it is awful because it's
Yeah.
so unaerodynamic.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to say it's underpowered, right? But it's got a car engine, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
With a truck, you want the torque to all be down real low.
Sure.
Right. I was talking to Matt. It was like people like diesel so much because you make
Yeah.
maximum torque
All
at
the torque.
1,800 RPM.
Yep, exactly.
And you can cruise on the highway with absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
This thing makes all its torque at whatever, 4,000 RPM.
Right.
And so you just got to be screaming on the gas. So we
Yeah.
got like 12 miles to the gallon,
Yeah.
you know, going 80 miles an hour, especially with the wind coming across
Sure. Yeah.
Kansas or, you know, in
Yep.
Colorado. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll bet. That's funny.
I mean, it wasn't the worst, right?
Yeah,
Because at least I
yeah.
got to split the driving with somebody. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the wind was blowing so hard
Yeah,
for like
yeah.
800 miles that you just had to,
Yeah. The
you know,
side.
I mean, like
a crosswind out there. Yeah.
like my buddies that were coming
Keep the
across
wheel to
it
the
in
left.
new Jeeps said that they got like alerts that they thought like the steering wheel was turned so far that
Yeah.
that the Jeep thought that they were going off the road or something, was giving them warnings
Wow.
because the wind was so strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Just have to keep it locked. Keep it locked to the left so you don't blow off the road.
It's unbelievable.